So much has changed since I've started testing GTA cars about 3 years ago. Cars are so much faster now, and I figured out that I need an upgrade to my speed score. I need to be able to measure cornering grip specifically. So I set out and I found a way to do exactly that. I have a new, accurate, measured out skid pad test that's going to help me with that. Then I went out and I took 25 cars around 5 different of my created tracks just to see average times and figure out exactly how each one of the stats I test for affects performance. Now I'm excited to share my PI with you. To do that, I'm going to take the top 3 cars from 5 main classes on those 5 tracks. While I'm doing that, we'll talk a little bit about the new PI and how things have maybe changed a bit within the class. Maybe some cars got a big boost. You can see the GTX there on the bottom right in the 3rd spot in Muscles class. You might think I'm crazy, but you'll probably want to watch this. Its handling is phenomenal, and on my skid pad, it's actually better than the Buffalo STX. Pretty wild. Tons of grip. Imagine if that thing had any power. Now, the muscle class did change quite a bit. We have some big movers in here. A lot of that has to do with the fact that there are quite a few cars in this class, but also handling is much more important now than it used to be in this score. So we have some Drift Yosemite, Sabre Turbo. They both jumped up about 15 spots. Peyote Gasser and Gauntlet Classic Custom dropped about 20. So you can see there's your top 3. That GTX is actually pretty quick. Pretty cool to see. Now we're going to the Stock Boy Raceway. This is something I tried to do a long time ago that failed miserably. But I'm testing the cars here, and we're going to see the 3 top sports classics duke it out. This is a really close race, so it'll be fun for you to watch. If you also notice, I have that little ticker on the bottom that's going to give you the top 10 from each class. And in one of these videos, you're going to get the top 50 overall. So you'll want to make sure you watch and pay attention down there. You can get a little bit of a head start. And if you're watching this on the same day, you know Rockstar is going to start deleting cars, which I hate more than anything. It'll give you a really good idea of some maybe underrated cars that you'll want to go out and buy before then. In the Sports Classic class, these are the top 3. I think that's not too much of a surprise if you've been following GTA for a while. As far as the biggest movers in this class, now I haven't tested the whole thing, just to be completely honest, but the 190Z is up about 7 spots. Sterling GT and Zion Classic are both up 6 spots, and the Coquette Classic and Z-Type are the biggest losers of this class, dropping 8 and 6 spots so far. Bit of a bummer for those 2 cars. I do have a lot of fun with the Coquette Classic still. But as we head down this main stretch here, we're going to see that Cheetah Classic just barely edging out the other 2. Really close class there. Should be a lot of fun racing in that class, and really there is. It's an underrated class to race. You guys will recognize this place. This is my test track. I'm here a lot. So let's get going with some house cars. These 3 really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. When it comes to house cars, they're just unbelievably fast. Hakachi Drag really can't be touched as long as you can stay on the bike and not get knocked off. Whoa, excuse me. I was actually pretty interested to see how the Hakachi Drag performs on my skid pad. It's a little weird. That extended swing arm actually holds it back a little bit, but as I expected, the weaponized Ignis really does well. I absolutely love the way that thing corners. It's perfect. When you're looking at the HSW Cyclone 2, the acceleration is unreal. It does struggle a little bit through corners. That does show on the skid pad test as well. When it comes to HSW cars, there's not a whole lot of movement. The Sentinel XS did jump up 3 spots. Arbiter GT dropped down 3, but you can see such a massive gap there. That class is wildly unbalanced in my opinion. This is a brand new track I created. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. I call it Autodromo El Gordo, and we're going to be running a sports class here. Same top 3 that I had with my speed score. You got the GTO, RSX, and Pariah, but with my new PI, I adjusted a lot of things that had to do with top speed. As I was testing on a lot of these tracks, and you'll see right here, this is a really long straightaway, but the top speed numbers don't matter near as much as I maybe had expected. It's one of the reasons why house cars were really kind of overrated. Sorry, Hao, I love you, but I learned that they're not as fast as that speed score maybe would suggest.
Not cool, homie.
Top speed does still matter, but I hate that. I promise the track looks so much better than what it showed right there. But I learned that if I bring the track up from the bottom, it actually makes it slippery, and it's kind of fun to do that. So people don't really like that in this race, but I did it anyway, so it's kind of fun. Anyways, you're gonna see the Pariah again, and people thought I was crazy for saying it. The Pariah belongs here. Just watch how close it is to that GTO. Our order is actually a little bit disrupted there. That RSX is still, you know, it's quick, but it's really hard to compensate for the overall speed of that thing. This is the Zancudodrome. I love this track, but I can't do fancy edits because it's near Fort Zancudo, so you never see it on my channel. I wanted to do it here, and I love testing. 33 or 34 corners, it's outrageous. These are the top supercars, and I know some of you guys are going, well, what about the Krieger? What about the Krieger? I'm going to show you the Krieger versus the Emirates after this, and that's when you're going to get to see the top 50 in this new PI as well. You're going to see that Emirates does extremely well, though a big part of that is its performance on my skid pad. It performs just as well as the LM87. Both of those cars do really well, but the kicker here, the S80RR is the best supercar in the game when it comes to the skid pad test. It's pretty cool. It shouldn't be a surprise if you've driven it. That thing handles so unbelievably well. But it's really cool to see it here with the big boys, and you're going to want to watch the end of this race. It gets pretty neat. Looking at the Supers class, we had some big movers. There's a lot of cars in the class that had a lot to do with it, but Tempesta and ETR1 were our big winners. They jumped up 14 spots. 811 and GTB Custom down 23 and 25 spots each. So the lack of, or I guess the excessive speed that those two have compared to the rest of the class, kind of the advantage was taken away. But now we're heading down. This is the final stretch here after that chicane, and watch how close this race is. LM87 barely edging out the Emirates and S80RR. Now here's your top 50 list on the bottom, and while you're doing that, I'm going to be watching the race on the top. So we've got the Emirates and the Krieger. Now, I didn't mention this yet, but these are not my actual testing laps. What I did, I actually took 4 laps, so 3 running laps with each car to make this video, because the update came out a lot quicker than I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting to do this just yet. So I tested a ton of cars, took time off work. I've been working around the clock. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this, but this battle here with the Emirates and the Krieger, it's kind of a classic in GTA. I've always been on the Emirates wagon. The Krieger doesn't test as well as the Emirates in every single one of my tests. That includes the skid pad. We're going to see if the Krieger can keep up here, because people tell me I'm wrong all the time. I do love my Emirates, and I want to love the Krieger, but I'm a huge AMG guy in real life, but it just, in my opinion, isn't as fast. Don't get mad at me, just watch and keep watching that ticker if the top is going to make you angry. Overall, you know, there are some big changes with this speed score. I hope you guys do enjoy it. I know that it's very different. It's not a speed score anymore. I'm going to have to change that. It's the PI. I'm going to keep the speed score. It'll be on my Speedway card for testing. I do still like it. It does do a good job of showing speed. But for overall performance, this is going to be my new baby. You can see Emirates on top. And, you know, I really hope you're enjoying this. I hope to see more of you guys. Subscribe if you're not already. I'd love to see you on the channel. Thanks again. See you next time.